Hey guys, and welcome to episode 13 of Divine FM. This week I'm going to be talking about breaking the cycle and learning to detach. So, this week I kind of was inspired by a book that I read a couple of months ago, and I was cleaning out my car and I found it in my glove box, and I opened it up, and the page I opened had some lines highlighted on it, and I was like, wow, that really actually speaks to me a lot, and it's something that I really need to work on. So maybe I'll work on it as I talk through this podcast, so we can both be inspired. Yeah. So basically the book Tuesdays with Maury is about this man who has ALS, and he is just dying very quickly from this illness, and he has like this very optimistic, deeply loving, deeply spiritual, he's just such like an angel, basically. Like, his view of life is so warm and comforting for a man who knows he's gonna be dying and losing his mobility as the days go on, and that's really inspiring to see. And so he was on the news, and one of his old students that he used to teach reached out to him, and they hadn't talked for a really long time, and they had like a very close, almost like father-son relationship. And they reconnected, and he started interviewing Maury just about everything about life, death, love, and the in-between. And that's what this book is about, basically, is Maury talking about different concepts of life and how he views them, and etc. So this chapter that I opened the page on is about emotions, I believe. Yeah, it says the 6th Tuesday we talk about emotions. And this is the little chapter. Not the chapter, this is the page. I have a couple of lines highlighted, but I'm going to read the whole paragraph because it's really beautiful. He says, if you hold back on the emotions, if you don't allow yourself to go all the way through them, you can never get to being detached. You're too busy being afraid. You're afraid of the pain, and you're afraid of the grief. You're afraid of the vulnerability that loving entails. But by throwing yourself into these emotions, by allowing yourself to dive in all of the way, over your head even, you experience them fully and completely. You know what pain is. You know what love is. You know what grief is. And only then can you say, all right, I have experienced that emotion. I recognize that emotion. Now I need to detach from that emotion for a moment. Wow. Like, just the amount of patience it takes with yourself to be able to feel those painful emotions and not let yourself overthink them or let them, I don't know, cause you to take action on them. Just being able to say to yourself, I just felt that, and that's okay. And now I'm gonna move on. Like, I feel like that just takes so much slowing down, too, on your own. You know, like, I know everyone's different, but I think it's an obvious... Oh my goodness. I think it's, like, an obvious factor that whenever we're feeling really overwhelmed or anxious, that we typically are, a little bit more encouraged to take action if it means to solve that problem or to fix our emotion in a way that will like make us feel more at ease, I guess. And that can't always be the best case, because it has not been the best case for me. And I'm always just so impulsive about it. Like, I know that being patient and slowing down will help me. Like going on a walk, or just like opening my journal and like writing a few sentences. Oh my gosh. I've been plagued by the freaking yawns. Or just like reading a few sentences out of a book, or writing in your journal. I feel like that helps so much with getting your mind off of things that are like stressing you out. And I feel like that's something that we need to incorporate way, way, way more often into our routines in order to be able to detach from things that are like making us feel really overwhelmed or stressed out. So I guess maybe I'll like list out some examples of things that are stressing me out and ways that like I should be reacting to them. Okay, let's say like financial stresses. I don't like have like financial stresses to the point where I'm like suffering, but I definitely like am a working adult, and the idea of money stresses me out. And I feel like something that I have been doing but need to do more often is to just feel the stress, and instead of figuring out ways I can automatically make more money to make myself feel less stressed about the amount of money that I do have, instead going to my bank account, looking at my bank account, writing on a piece of paper how much money I have, and then writing down all of my expenses for the week, writing down how much money I'm going to have after that. And that always makes me feel so much better because I always think I have so much less than I do have. And it just is something that you have to make the choice to do. You know what I mean? Or let's say with love, for example, if you have anyone in your life that, I don't know, you're not like dating, but like you like want to date, or you're like in a situationship, or you're just talking to someone, whatever it is, and you want to talk to them, or you want to tell them something, or you like want them to tell you something because you're like questioning and you're confused or whatever. I feel like the best case scenario for most like situations in that would be to not act on it, like to be patient and slow down and really think about like your worth and how much it like actually means to you to know this information or to tell them this information or whatever it is. I really freaking struggle with that, and I let it bother me to the point where it makes me feel like less of a confident person. Not that it takes away my confidence, but it takes away my worth, I feel like, in a way, or I let it take away my worth in a way, because I let these emotions like take over me, and I forget who I am almost in those moments because it just like literally overtakes me, and I'm like need to have it fixed, or else I just like can't get it off my mind. And I feel like ways I can work on that is writing in my journal, or talking to a friend, or reading a book, just slowing down. And I feel like the more that I incorporate things like that, I'll be able to not care as much about, that interest, and to think about my life more, and to think about how these emotions are making me feel and how I can fix them instead of like relying on someone else to give me some sort of like what's the word for someone who podcasts. I literally am struggling so bad with words today. Whatever, doesn't even matter. Like just trying to make you feel better. You want them to tell you something and they're not telling it to you, and you know what? We don't need anyone else besides ourselves to make us feel better. Oh, reassure. That's the word. We don't need anyone else to reassure us besides ourselves. And that's that, guys. Detaching is not an easy feat at all, especially when it comes to things that are really important to us, or mean a lot to us, or feel very special to us. But I feel like when it comes to the end of the day, you have to really remember that you're the only person that you can rely on 100%. You're the only person that wakes up and goes to bed and goes along your whole day with you and stays in your brain with you all day. And that's the person that you have to rely on the most, and you have to trust the most and love the most. And the more that we remember that, I feel like it will help us detach from those outside things that are making us feel down or making us just distracted from what's really important. So, yeah. I think that was pretty good, actually. I learned a little something while I was doing that. And I was yawning a lot, which, by the way, I'm really sorry about that, but I can't cut it out, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. And I'm literally gonna yawn again! Oh my god. Comment down below if you yawn too after I yawn, because I know those hoes are contagious. But yeah, I hope you guys have a really good week, and please, please, please stay warm. If you're in the freaking Texas area, or honestly, if you're like any of the cold states or cold countries or anywhere, that is called Stay Warm. And if you want to get the book that I was talking about, it's called Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom. It's Mitchalbom. Very beautiful book. I would highly recommend. And that's it. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next week on Divine FM.